Welcome back to Centennial High School. The ladder match of our doubleheader action tonight as the Centennial Cougars host the Independence Eagles here in our boys matchup. The lights are on, the student sections are live, repping the purple and gold for the late Kobe Bryant. And here we are as the Eagles and Cougars tip off, as the Eagles win the tip-off. And St. Charles and company and the Independents get it started as Salitri at the point. Tough man-to-man defense here by the Cougars. Independents looking down low to Connor Rudolph. It looks like he's going to get tangled up with Andrew Ellison, the senior forward there for the Cougars. Starting lineup for Centennial: Patrick Garrett, Isaiah Poore, Ben Brown, Carter Speedy, and Andrew Ellison. And is a senior-driven Centennial Cougars team. Been missing Bryn Brown for most of the season, especially the past few weeks off of injury. And I know Coach Hickman and company are glad to see him back. And for the Eagles on offense, Salitri, St. Charles, and Matt St. Charles and Trey St. Charles. St. Charles brothers, Connor Rudolph and Cameron Bell for the Eagles. As quickly down the floor, Isaiah Poore off the glass and gets the scoring started tonight for the Cougars. The Cougars 12-9, 5-5 in the conference, currently placed, or sitting in fourth place. As good defense, strong down low on the baseline. Turning the ball over was Trey St. Charles there as he stepped out of bounds. Quickly, a minute in, 2-0 Centennial leads this matchup. Fourth place are the Cougars in this division, 5-5. 3-6 in sixth place are the Independence Eagles. This is a pivotal game to see who will climb or fall in these district rankings, as turnover down low in the lane. Quickly down floor are the Eagles, and a slam dunk by Cameron Bell. The sophomore from coast to coast with the jam ties our ball game at 2-2. Poore slowing the game down, pulls up from three, unable to hit. Long rebound in front of the Independence bench. Possession will stick with the gold. Independence coming off a bye this past Tuesday. Coach Doug Kyle and company, they were talking about how they were able to identify the issues that they had so far this season and make some changes. Solid sophomore crew that they have coming off the bench are the Eagles, and young talent, but potential talent for the future that they are growing on. As working the ball around the wing, getting it inside to Matt St. Charles, loses the ball. Quickly poured down low, finds Andrew Ellison, and the quick basket by the Cougars puts them back up by 2, 4-2 here in the first quarter. Independence unable to get anything going here on the offensive end as far as getting anything set up, barring the, or as far as the Cameron Bell dunk. Other than that, there's been no offensive production here in the first few minutes, as Connor Rudolph loses his feet, and possession will be regained by the Eagles. So we see first-year coach Tyler Hickman here at Centennial High School, former Lipscomb alumni player himself, got a young, or excuse me, an older team, senior-driven team, and he's able to get them to buy in and finding themselves with a solid record at 12-9, right in the middle at 5-5, as we said before, here in the district. And this Centennial team, they have definitely been keeping everything close in their conference games. Out of those 5 losses, 4 of them combined 16 points and losses. So a possession here or there, a shot going one way or another, or a foul, what have you, that record could be a lot different. That's something that Coach Hickman and company have discussed, and that's kind of what he's kept his team bought in with. And trying to answer their first win against this Independence Eagles team back in December. Independence High School. Independence had a shot at the buzzer in regulation to win, ended up losing in overtime. Centennial came back 73-62. So could that possibly be a type of game we will see tonight? We will see. I can only imagine that both of these teams, especially Independence, coming in hungry off that bye. So the officiating crew and company getting everything settled away, and we restart our action. Sam Walmack, Jr., into the game for Independence. Connor Rudolph getting a rest. And here is Walmack bringing the ball up the court for the Eagles. Down low, hard off the glass. St. Charles unable to hit, quickly down the floor, Poor. Finding his man on the wing and hits was number 22, Carter Speedy, the senior guard, coming up big. Centennial up to an early 5-point lead. As we have a foul down low, Cameron Bell, big sophomore, backing down. I believe that was Ben Brown. And it is going to be on Ben Brown, number 21, his first foul. So we will see how Cameron Bell, the young sophomore, does at the line for the Eagles. As the second team foul. The second team foul on Centennial. Independence has one. Rudolph hitting his first of 2 free throws. And he has all 3 points so far for the Eagles. And make that 4 points as Rudolph cuts the lead to 3. And quickly, Patrick Garrett turns the ball over. And Salitri and company for the Eagles are back down on the offensive side. Approaching 4 minutes left to go here in this first quarter. Salitri, Euro stepping inside, unable to connect, but nice move going on the opposite side of that pick placed by Cameron Bell. And Harishi Salitri will be at the line for the first time this evening. His senior guard trying to cut into this 3-point deficit that he sees his team in right now. Short off the front iron on his first shot. And into the game for the Cougars, Luke Westmoreland. Gonna give Big Ben Brown a rest. Salitri hitting the second of 2 free throws, and we have a 2-point ball game. Garrett at the point for the Cougars. Setting things up with Westmoreland playing catch with Poole. Kicks out to Speedy as he resets. Good man-to-man defense here by the Eagles. Trying to get inside are the Cougars, and they do, and hit Big Brown. The junior with his first points of the ball game. 9-5, 4-point lead for the Cougars. Salitri from 3. Off the mark, and gonna have an over-the-back call on Carter Speedy. Salitri into St. Charles, back to Salitri. What a give and go. Nice play off the glass, kissing it gently. 2-point game 3 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Great play, give and go. St. Charles to Salitri. And going in hard in the lane and missing was Westmoreland. And Salitri setting it up for the Eagles. Trey St. Charles to his brother Matt, unable to hit. But his brother able to pick up the rebound. Salitri kicking to Womack. Womack unable to hit. And we're going to have a foul called on the floor. 2:33 left to go here in the first quarter. Got a lot of back and forth action, not a lot of scoring. Defense is playing a factor. 2-point lead for the Cougars. As Connor Rudolph replaces Cameron Bell for the Eagles. And into the game for the Cougars, Grant Sargent, the senior guard. And Patrick Garrett brings up the ball for the Cougars. Speedy, down low, Ben Brown unable to corral the ball. St. Charles and Salitri with the ball coming back down for the Eagles. Down low. Rudolph looking for St. Charles. Errant pass, good defense down low. Luke Westmoreland on St. Charles. And a lot of bodies moving in and out for both teams. Lincoln Aholt for the Cougars into the game, and Tyus Anderson, the sophomore for the Eagles, into the game as well. Both coaches trying to keep legs fresh as possible. Fast pace so far in the game. As great play by Lincoln Aholt, the freshman down low, losing the ball and getting it back. And his teammate Westmoreland helping him corral the ball down low and getting the foul shots. Aholt hitting the first out of the 2 free throws. 3 team fouls for Independence, 4 team fouls for Centennial. Aholt 2 for 2 from the line. 11-7 lead, 1:46 the Cougars have left in this first quarter. Quickly down floor. Womack loses the ball. Quickly comes Garrett down the floor for the Cougars. Finds Fox on the wing, unable to hit, and back and forth we go. Salitri driving hard, takes the bump and off the glass and in. Salitri, 5 quick points here in the first half. And that cuts the lead to 2. Westmoreland gets the double team. And what an effort down in the quarter by Colin Upright, and able to come up with the turnover with the help from Salitri. And a little bit of a momentum shift here. A couple big defensive stops by Independence, slowing down Centennial. And Salitri, big skip pass up front, nice by Trey St. Charles. What a pass, what a find by Salitri. And that ties our ball game up at 11 with 50 seconds left to go, under a minute here in the first half. Patrick Garrett short from the top of the key, and going for the rebound was Lincoln Aholt. Let's see if they end up calling the foul on here. Looks like that's going to be on Justin Miles of Independence. 4th team foul, 4 aside for both teams. Westmoreland dragged that left foot just a tad, caught for it. Costly turnover by the Cougars. As once again, personnel change by the Cougars. Michael Joyner in the game for Westmoreland. And once again, Colin Upright inbounding the ball, also in the game for Independence. Approaching 30 seconds left to go in the opening quarter. Miles down low, working hard against Aholt, trying to get position. Unable to, finds some space, gets a good feed from Upright. And good foul down low there by Patrick Garrett, forcing Miles to get to the hard way. As Independence looking to get some more size into the game. Cameron Bell set to check in. As Miles hits the front end of the 2 free throws. Trey St. Charles taking a breather. And Miles misses the second. But Eagles take the 1-point lead, 12-11, 10 seconds left to go here in the first. Joyner finding Fox. Fox to Sargent. 2 seconds left, off the glass, unable to hit. Aholt trying for the one-handed putback. And with a great effort to salvage 2 extra points there at the end of the first quarter, the Cougars were unable to. And after leading for the majority of the first quarter, the Independence Eagles were able to take the lead 12-11 after the first, with fast pace on both sides, turnovers being a little bit of a bugaboo, if you will, for both teams. Harishi Salitri running the point for the Eagles tonight, showing off what he can do, passing and shooting, just driving the lane, showing good senior leadership there for the Eagles. And on the Centennial side, even scoring for the starters. And yeah, Isaiah Poore, Aholt, Brown, Ellison, all with 2. And if I'm the coaches on both of these sidelines, I say keep it up. Maybe slow it down a little bit on offense on both sides. A little bit of little jitteriness, happy feet, if you will. Great atmosphere here at Centennial High School gym. And now that the lights are bright and everything, they're getting used to it. I think both teams are going to come out with a little bit more of a disciplined second quarter. And both teams with shorter lineups coming out of the huddle. No Ben Brown. No Cameron Bell, Brady Jenkins, Connor Rudolph. We'll see if the shooting gets put on display here as Poole with the elbow jumper. Quick scoring start for the second quarter for the Cougars, as Sargent getting the assist. Double team down low on St. Charles, and great defense by the Cougars, forcing the traveling call as Tyus Anderson caught up in the corner, gives it to St. Charles, and same was for him. Great defense by the Cougars as Patrick Garrett gets the play call from Coach Hickman. And the motion starts for the Cougar offense. Poore kicking it out to Sargent, keeps it in bounds. And aggressive defense by the Eagles, a little bit too much there by St. Charles. Trey gets a foul there, and that will be his second. So 5 team fouls for the Eagles. Sam Womack back into the game for St. Charles and the Eagles. And Cougars look to regroup and set up. And a moving screen call on the Cougars will give the Eagles the immediate possession right back. And that was on Patrick Garrett. That is his second foul. So timeout on the floor, 6:55 left to go here in the first half. The home team, Centennial Cougars, 13-12 lead over Independence. And with both teams getting to the line and getting to the rack, both defenses have been tested, and, you know, really the discipline has been good. Only 6 fouls for Centennial and 5 fouls for Independence. So with how fast-paced and a little bit out of control some of these possessions have been, defensively staying disciplined is what both coaches are going to look to do, and so far so good, as a little bit of height comes back out for both teams. Cameron Bell out for the Eagles, Ben Brown for the Cougars. And Harishi Salitri bringing the ball out for the Eagles. Kicks it to Anderson. Anderson with a pretty looking shot, unable to hit. Huge offensive rebound. Cameron Bell grabbing a one-handed offensive rebound down low, keeping the possession for the Eagles. Great work down there by the young man. Grant Sargent taking a breather. Carter Speedy back into the game for the Cougars, as Colin Upright will attempt his first free throw. And misses the front end of the 1-and-1. Here comes Poor looking to run. Stutter steps and takes a hard body foul on Bell as he goes up strong and up quickly, awaiting his free throw shots. Isaiah Poor is one of those senior leaders that we talked about in the broadcast previously. Looking to see Dusty Williams. Have not seen him on the floor yet for the Cougars. That duo is dangerous when on the floor together. But as of now, Poor is going to have to do it with the rest of his comrades as he hits 1 of 2 from the line. Cougars trying to get a little bit of breathing room from Independence. 14-12 is the score. As Salitri driving in the lane and drawing the foul, and that will take Independence 2 1-and-1 shots. 7 fouls for Centennial, and have hit the bonus. Coach Hickman not pleased down on the Centennial sidelines. It's a quick foul. Nothing really earning that. Salitri with just a drive down the lane and an errant foul. And points that Centennial does not want to give Independence, especially for free, as Salitri 2 for 2 from the line. And that gives him 7 points for the night. The Cougars trying to answer. Poor, 1-on-1 with Anderson, loses the ball, gets it back. What a hustle defense play by Salitri. Poor loses the ball, tries to get it back. Salitri knows it's off of him with the awareness to turn around and take it off of Poor. What a hustle play. Harishi Salitri with a first half for the books for the Eagles. 14-14, we are knotted up. 6 minutes left to go in the first half. The ball's turned over. Here come the Cougars. Speedy slows it down, gets it to Poor. Down low, Jones. Jumper falls off the mark. Cameron Bell in the face of Ben Jones. Back and forth, misses on both sides. Both teams desperately looking for a clean basket. As great defense down low by Speedy. Upright, unable to finish. And here come the Cougars. Shot from 3 and hits. Michael Joyner. Finally, 3-ball hits for the Cougars. Both teams a little drive from the 3-point line as Salitri answers. Looking for the foul as he draws contact, unable to get the call, but able to make the basket. 17-16, Centennial leads. Poor down low to Ben Jones. Good look, unable to connect. And here comes the red-hot Salitri. Drives to the left, looks down low. Trying to find upright. Not a bad decision there, dishing it off. Nonetheless, that will be a turnover again for the Eagles. As Sam Womack checks back into the game, as well as Connor Rudolph for Independence. Isaiah Poore brings the ball down floor. Takes it himself off the glass. Isaiah Poore with his 7th point of tonight. Salitri looks down low, trying to find his man Connor Rudolph. Off the hands of Ben Jones. Independence will keep possession. As we see here, splitting the defense was Mr. Poore. And keeping his eye on the prize, and that was that rim as the ball falls through it. And another defensive effort there by the Cougars, Carter Speedy. Welcome to the game as he is showing great hustle plays on both sides of the ball as he has come off the bench here halfway through this first half. 19-16, Centennial leads. And we're gonna get a traveling call there called on Independence. Sam Womack losing his footing, excuse me. My mother's an English teacher, don't tell her I said that. As checking in for the Eagles, Whit Conrad. Healthy dose of substitutions for the Eagles. Sophomores are getting their turn. As the Cougars and Isaiah Poore setting up a play to extend this 3-point lead. Not a lot of movement, maybe looking for isolation. And he kicks it to Speedy, and Speedy's gonna get fouled. And that is gonna be number 8 on Independence. Both teams at 8 fouls. Both teams will be shooting free throws for the duration of this half. Chase Thomas, the junior, 6'3", 40-pound center into the game for Cougars as Carter Speedy hits the front end of his 1-and-1. And that will extend the lead to 4, hoping for 5 points here. As Speedy hits his 4th point of the night, 2nd free throw, 21-16, Cougars lead. Lincoln Ahold into the game for Ben Brown. Five-point lead, Cougars over the Eagles. Salitri brings the ball down court to Fox. Salitri off the pick by Miles. Going back down there, down low to Rudolph was Salitri, and Rudolph drawing the foul, and he will go to the line. As that is the 9th team foul for Centennial, so 1-and-1 once again. And that is Chase Thomas's first foul. Rudolph hitting his first of 1-and-1. And with the second, that cuts the Centennial lead down to 3, 21-18, approaching 3 minutes left to go here in the first half. Poore double teamed at the top. Down low, Centennial looking to get something going down low with with Ahold, unable to. Independence turns the ball over down low after a turnover of their own. And I think both teams here in the next 3 minutes and 8 seconds will be discussing the turnover bug that seems to have bit both teams so far this half. Can't take anything away of how hard both teams are playing, just a little bit of carelessness on both sides. as Aholt all around the rim, off the backboard and in, the first of 2 from the line. Cameron Bell back into the game for Independence. And Aholt 2 for 2 from the line. That is going to be very big from both teams. If they are at the line, able to get free points from the line, they're going to have to connect to solidify their place in this game on the scoreboard. So Salitri driving and kicking. Playing a little bit of game of catch with Bell. Salitri going for the corner, drawing a foul once again. And he will go right back to the line. With 9 points, Salitri has definitely made his presence felt and presence known from that foul line as well. Foul is going to be on Lincoln Aholt. That is his first. Salitri missing the front end of the 1-and-1. Or excuse me, not 1-and-1. We are in the double bonus now. 10 team fouls by Centennial. And Salitri getting his 10th point of tonight. Cutting the lead to 4, 23-19. Centennial looking to answer, unable to connect was Joyner as the offensive rebound reconnected and gathered by Centennial, and they will restart. Poor looking to get some contact and a foul call, unable to. Here comes Anderson. A little bit of careless with the basketball, and one travel to another, and one is called there on 31. That is Connor Rudolph. And once again, just careless ball handling on both teams. Getting a little bit out from under there. Their feet are out from under them, getting a little bit too fast. And that is showing on the turnover margin. And once again, that's something both teams, I am sure, will hit on and touch on in the next 2 minutes in the locker room. Smiley drives on his own left hand, beats his man upright to the basket. And big points there by Smiley. That's 7 for him. And I apologize, Carter. That is Carter Speedy, not Smiley. I apologize. Don't know where I got that from. Salitri from 3, unable to connect. And potential run starter here for the Cougars. Hard drive and foul. Isaiah Poor looking to get that run started. And Anderson picking up the foul on Poor. That is his first, team 9th. And the senior Poor with his first of 2. Unable to hit. Ryan Lampley, the senior, number 10, into the game for the Cougars for the first time. And as Isaiah Poor finishes off the second of 2 free throws, that gives him 8 points tonight. And that gives the Cougars a 7-point lead. And we are just outside of 1 minute left to go here in the first half. Inside, Anderson to Bell. Bell loses it out of bounds, and possession will stay with the Eagles. Salitri finds Anderson and was looking for his man in the corner. A little bit of miscommunication. And another turnover on the Centennial, or excuse me, the Independence offensive side. As we have hit 1 minute left to go here in the first half. Isaiah Poor and the Cougars with a 7-point lead. Slowing the ball down. See if they can get a last second shot here. No shot clock in high school basketball. And as we have a staring contest between Anderson and Poole, Poole was ready to pass it off. I think he blinked first. Here we go. Poole ready for the play. And Coach Hickman's going to call a timeout on the Centennial sidelines. And that will leave us 13.8 seconds left to go. The Cougars looking to extend this first half lead. This Cougars team is also a team, kind of a rough stretch. The last 10 games, 3-7. And this past Tuesday, tough loss to Summit, 57-53. And that goes back into what I mentioned earlier. 4 out of their 5 conference losses, all combined with 16 points. So that 4-point loss there, Summit this week, is another one of those that kind of rub a little bit sour if you're Centennial. But tonight, you know, so far it's about which team is going to make the least amount of turnovers. And right now, I think Centennial is capitalizing on those turnovers so far, and that's what puts them up by 7 here late in the first half. A young Independence team on the other side, I do not see them going anywhere, so Centennial's going to have to keep their head on straight and keep their game plan in mind and keep doing what they're doing, and Independence is going to have to start putting a little bit more pressure on Centennial. And my unprofessional opinion, I think that might be something each team will talk about here in the locker room, as we have 10 seconds left until that happens. Across court, from the corner, unable to hit. I could not see who that was. I believe that was Andrew Ellison from the corner, and I believe he was fouled on the shot. And if that's the case from my angle, I believe it was a 3-pointer. That foul's going to be on Justin Miles. That's his 3rd, team 10th, and that is going to be a 3-point potential swing here as Andrew Ellison picks up his 2nd point and first of the 3 free throws. And after that second made free throw, little group personnel change for the Cougars. 2.5 seconds left to go here in the first half. Ellison looking to close out this 3-point play from the free throw line, and does. And that extends this Cougar lead to 11. I apologize, I looked too late to the scoreboard. I was waiting for it to change. It is 10 points. Last second by St. Charles, unable to hit, and a little run put on by Centennial Cougars, our host this evening. They look at themselves up 10, 29-19 over Independence after a busy first half. Can't wait to see what we have in store for us in the second. 29-19, we'll see you after the half back at Centennial High School. And we are back for second half action here at Centennial High School. The host Cougars leading the Eagles 29-19, 10-point lead here as Salitri and the Eagles get the first possession to start this second half. We saw the Cougars go on a little bit of a run there towards the end of the second quarter, forcing a lot of turnovers by the Eagles. And now the Eagles are going to look back to the drawing board to try to get some more points on this scoreboard to alleviate some turnovers, as Salitri giving up to St. Charles in the corner, unable to hit. And here comes Poor and the Cougars. Kicks out to Speedy. Good look by Speedy. Both teams starting 0 for 1 here out of the locker room. Look to see if Centennial continues to block off that interior from the Eagles, or if Salitri and company can try to get it down low. Maybe a little bit of high-low look right there as Matt St. Charles, nice feed from Salitri in off the glass. And we have our first points of the second half. And like I was saying, if you're the Eagles, you're going to want to look to try to get inside to Connor Rudolph and Cameron Bell. And there, the first half at the beginning, they were able to do that. The defense of Centennial has closed off the center and forbidden those types of points from being scored. So we'll see what the young sophomore can do as he gets the ball driving strong and in off the glass. Cameron Bell getting his 6 points of the game. Speedy to answer. And 0 for 2 from that corner. Speedy might want to try another one as Salitri and the Eagles have cut that 10-point lead to 6. But here comes Andrew Ellison with the steal. Pokes it to Poor, and Poor finishes. Great defense there by Ellison, and pick up by Poor, getting his guy, getting his back, and getting the first points on the board for the Cougars here in the second half. And that puts us at 31-23. Down low. Rudolph up and no good. Good defense and good rebound there by Ben Brown. Garrett finds Ellison around the horn. There's Speedy in the other corner, decides to take it to the rack. And after the first 2-3 points he missed, he goes for a little bit of a higher percentage shot. And that, folks, will go in more times than not. 33-23, we're back to 10 points. Centennial leads Independence. Salitri, nice spin move. Might have taken a little bit too many steps, I would have said, but it looks like it's going to be called on Isaiah Poor there for the block. Might even be a little bit of a check foul there. Mr. Official has let our scorers table know. So that will be on Poor. That is his second foul, team first here in the second half. Poor leading the Cougars with 10 points. And we have no shot, foul on the floor. And that's going to be 2 quick fouls there on Centennial. And that is what Independence did in the first half. We saw getting Centennial in quick and early foul trouble. Independence was in the bonus at 7 fouls, or 7 fouls given up by Centennial in the first quarter. So after 2 early fouls, Salitri, nice bounce pass to St. Charles. Just coming up short. Here comes Poor, quickly down the floor. Challenges Salitri, and good effort there off the miss, and Coach Hickman there on the sidelines of Centennial liked it. Loves the effort there by the senior. All gas, no brakes he has shown tonight, especially with the absence of fellow senior Dusty Williams. Poor kind of having to do a little bit more than he is used to doing as he misses his front end of his free throws. Oh for 2, misses both, but Andrew Ellison there to pick him up. Nice offensive rebound and finish by Andrew Ellison, 35-23 Cougars. Just when you think Independence is going to start scratching their way in, back into this lead, Centennial keeps throwing the door back in their face as we see Coach Kyle there on the Independence sidelines. Seen enough out of the locker room and calls his timeout, and that will leave him with 3. And Centennial with 4 timeouts, 35-23. Centennial over Independence here at Centennial High School. Our WC-TV Game of the Week, January 31st. Last day of the first month of the new decade. And we're glad that you're joining us. WC-TV Net, that is where you can find this live broadcast, Facebook or YouTube. Shown globally, as we learned last week. It's got some friends down in Puerto Rico watching some action here in Williamson County. So we appreciate all that are listening. Again, WC-TV Net, Facebook and YouTube. And Lance and Christian and Michael and the guys always do a great job with the production. And we are glad to have you with us. So after the Independence timeout, a little regroup. Salitri looking to get the ball here at the front court. to continue play here in the third quarter. 4:28 left to go. And a zone defense look by the Cougars. An intercepted pass by Ben Brown and almost gives it up. But Patrick Garrett able to corral the ball and reset things for the Cougars. Ben Brown out top to Ellison. And here come the Eagles. Catch pass, Anderson to St. Charles, back to Anderson, unable to hit. And oh goodness gracious, Isaiah Poore going after the loose ball. And we will see who gets possession. Hope everyone is okay down there. Good hustle play there by both teams. And we will see who regains possession. And what started this half at a 10-point lead that the Cougars had is now up to 12. Little back and forth action. Turnovers did not start the half, but kind of coming into play here in the recent events of this half. 3:53 left to go. Timeout on the floor. We're looking at the stats tonight. The leading scorers for both teams. For the host Cougars, Poore in there with 10 points. Carter Speedy with 9, and Andrew Ellison with 7. Then looking over with the independent side, we know for sure Harishi Salitri having a great game, 10 points, a lot of hustle on both sides of the ball. And then following him in the scoring column, the sophomore Cameron Bell. If you remember, started this game off with a nice little sweet dunk, one-handed to start us off in the game, and he's had a big physical presence down low. And with him and Connor Rudolph and Justin Miles, that is what Coach Kyle and this Independence team is going to want to look to try to impact more in this game here in the latter half of the second half. If they're going to want to get into this lead. Centennial, they're getting on a run and they stayed on it. And you can see that they are definitely senior driven with the leadership on the floor, and the teamwork that they possess is definitely apparent on the floor. So with both of these teams in the middle of these standings, the 11 AAA standings at 4 and 6, as we get everything regrouped and together down on the floor. Centennial in 4th place, Independence in 6th. The winner or loser of this game, barring a Franklin win or loss tonight, could jump them up 1 to 2 spots or down. So the importance of this game, I'm pretty sure both teams are very aware of. As after the break, here we are, Salitri inbounds to St. Charles, and we're back underway. And the St. Charles brothers, first time tonight, Matt to Trey connecting. Poore other way quickly, finds Speedy, back across court to Garrett. Garrett answers with the big 3. So out of the timeout, quick scores from each side. And Salitri sets it back up for the Eagles. Taking it in himself. Unable to hit. Fight for the ball. Cougars have it. Garrett up to Poor. 2-on-1. Poor decided to take it himself and going to be called for the travel. He had down low Andrew Ellison on the 2-on-1 play, instead turning the ball over, and the Eagles 13 points down, a chance to get it back into this game, back into this lead. Centennial has gone back into their man-to-man defense, and it is taken away. Up and in, and the finish, Ben Brown, coast to coast after the steal. Centennial's on a run. Salitri, St. Charles, high arcing three, unable to hit. And Ellison to Garrett to Poor. Goodness gracious, alley-oop attempt from half court. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will get you out of your seat just by the potential of that connection. And we see young Poor out there kind of, I don't know, bummed. I would just say bummed you didn't get that, because that still looked good, buddy. Both teams showing that they're still playing this game and still in it. Independence has to get points. Centennial is on that run, and third defensive stand in a row as Anderson gets called for the foul on, I believe that was Westmoreland. And 3 offensive turnovers in a row. Independence giving the ball back to Centennial. And Centennial, after that turnover, looking to extend this 15-point lead. Approaching 2 minutes left to go here in the third quarter. Isaiah Poor up top. Westmoreland in the corner, kicks back up to Poor. Looking down low to Ellison. Ellison drawing the foul down low on Cameron Bell. I believe that was Cameron Bell, and that would be his second if it is. So Cameron Bell picking up his second foul. He will be traded in by Justin Miles. Subbed in by Justin Miles. Here's Speedy. Up top, finds Westmoreland. Westmoreland kind of trying to keep that pivot foot there, drug it a little bit, right in front of the referee. And I might have spoken a little bit too soon earlier, but those turnovers are right back on the floor. Both teams ridiculed by both. So Womack and Anderson and company getting the flow started, trying to get back in this game, back into this lead that the Cougars have. St. Charles to Womack. Womack for 3. And misses, and empty the last 5 possessions down the floor for the Eagles. Poor gets it from Ellison. Westmoreland playing catch, and Poole will reset. As we approach a minute left to go here in the third quarter, Sargent and Poole playing catch. Face guarding is Womack and Anderson. Ellison against Miles. Stops short, trying to feed in a hard pass, and Womack able to intercept. Eagles looking to answer. Anderson does just that from 3. Tyus Anderson from the corner. And that brings our lead to 12, 40-28. 30 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Isaiah Poole showing the ball handling skills. Sargent, cross court, excuse me, inside to Ellison, unable to finish. And that was Luke Westmoreland finding Ellison. And great ball movement by the Cougars. Slick ball handling by Isaiah Poor as well. And Ellison misses his first from the line. It puts Independence at 4 team fouls, Centennial at 3. Smiley will take a breather for Centennial into the game. Ben Brown. Ellison hitting the second of 2 free throws. That gives him 8 for the night. Michael Joyner and Chase Thomas into the game for the Cougars. And they lead 41-28, 20 seconds left to go in the third quarter. And Womack brings up the ball. Salitri quiet here in the third quarter, trying to get something going. He gets it, drives the wing, baseline, loses the ball. Sargent coming down the floor at the buzzer, off the back iron. And with that, fast pace still tonight in the third quarter. And at the end, 41-28 is our score. The host, Centennial Cougars, lead Independence. And Centennial just has not come off that run. Really, Independence has not been able to take Centennial off the run that they started there late in the first half, the last 4 minutes of the second quarter, have you. And Centennial is just pressure, kind of showing us a little bit of zone defense, man defense, and that last 3 possessions in a row, forcing errant passes by Independence inside, trying to find their big guys down low, Cameron Bell, Connor Rudolph. They're not able to do it. Just the interior defense is too much, and I think that's just the leadership, the age, the seniors for the home team. But the talent and the way the Independence has played all year, Coach Kyle has something special brewing on that team and that roster. And 13 points is nothing. 8 minutes left to go in this ball game. Basketball is all about runs, as my friend Trenton and I spoke about earlier in the girls' game. And the Lady Cougars showed us how easy it is to go on one of those. So we'll see. As coming out of the huddle, Poor is double teamed by Womack and Anderson, able to use his speed to set it up, and just showing off again his ball handling skills. Joyner pump fakes, poked loose by Anderson off of Westmoreland, and good defensive possession there by the Eagles, forcing a turnover of their own, and they're going to need to see more of that and answer those turnovers with buckets if they want to get back into this lead. Eagles working the ball around, trying to look inside. St. Charles misses his pass. Salitri short. Looks like there's going to be a foul on the floor. Good hustle there by Salitri, going after his own rebound. And that's going to be on number 25, Chase Thomas. That's his second, team fourth. Both teams at 4 fouls here in the fourth quarter. A big difference, a lot more discipline both teams here in the second half versus the first. That is for sure. Anderson kicks to Womack, back to Anderson. And a little back and forth hot potato action, getting it down low to Rudolph, and Rudolph unable to hit. Not a bad offensive possession by the Eagles. Moved the ball around really well. Just better defensive possession by the Cougars. Ellison pick for Garrett. Garrett hesitates, and it is swatted away by St. Charles. Great defense there by Matt. And following that block, Michael Joyner is going to get called for a foul. That is his first, team 5th. And after that foul call, we'll have a 30-second timeout. 6:45 left to go in our ball game. 13-point lead. Centennial over Independence. And after a solid defensive possession and stand by the Eagles, unable to come up with their ensuing offensive possession, looking to capitalize and move forward from that out of this huddle. .640 left to go in this ball game. Salitri and the Eagles bringing the ball up court. And looking for Womack, errant pass, and another turnover. Gives the ball right back to the Cougars. So full court man-to-man defense, Salitri on Garrett. And a good defense there by Salitri, forcing the turnover, double dribble by Garrett. And turnover by both teams. And our score stays at 41-28. Independence needs to start looking inside, needs to start being more efficient with the basketball if they want to get back into this game and claw back into this lead. And passes like that right there is not going to get it done. Good defense by the Cougars. Poor lazy pass to Speedy, almost lost it. Ellison from Speedy. Andrew Ellison, nice drive and finish in the lane. The senior. And is 9 for Mr. Ellison. And the Cougars up to a 43-28 lead. Rudolph trapped in the corner. Gets it out to Womack, across court to Anderson. St. Charles gathers it up, and Salitri looking to regroup. Hop step in the lane. Offensive foul on Salitri. Poor down low. Set his feet, took the charge. And what looked like a pretty play by Salitri is going to be deemed out of control move by the referees. And that is going to give the Cougars the ball once again. Another turnover by Centennial. The scoring is starting to spread it out around a little bit for the Cougars. Poor with 10. Carter Speedy with 9. Andrew Ellison with 9. We have Patrick Garrett in there with 3. And Ben Brown in there with 4. Ben Brown, though, offensive and defensive boards, has made himself known. If you go over there and look at Independence side, only 9 points this quarter. Haven't really done much to help themselves on the scoreboard. Really have been helping, if anybody, have been helping Centennial out with the turnovers. And both coaches at the beginning of the game, or yesterday, were talking about, got to play better defensively, got to guard the shooters. That's good and well, but you can't score if you don't have the ball, and turnovers is what gives the ball up, and that's what both teams are going to be working on, I think, this week in practice. Nonetheless, a greedy performance on both sides, and with 5 minutes and 19 seconds left, still not out of the ordinary to see Independence go on some type of run here as they're trying to get a turnover, but the Cougars get past that press with ease. Garrett to pour all the way into the rack and in. Man, he's got some hops. Eagles looking to answer. Cougars go back into their 2-3 zone defense. And the first couple times that they did that, Independence turning the ball over as they almost did there. Nice pass inside to Womack. A great finish, awesome pump fake, got Poor off his feet, finishes it tough, getting Ellison on the foul. And a potential three-point play here for the Eagles and Sam Womack. Great play by the junior. That's going to be Ellison's third foul, team sixth. And Womack finishes off his first 3 points of the game. And that brings the lead down to 14, 45-31, 4.5 minutes left to play. Centennial beats the press, and Poor keeps the ball in play. Definitely see a sense of urgency on the defensive side of the ball for Independence, as right there, Salitri going to be called with the foul. Not a bad foul there. Good defense there by the senior. And that will only be his third. 16 fouls on both sides. One more foul will send each team to 1-and-1s. Garrett gets the ball inbounds and will set it up with Poor. Isaiah Poor, man, this kid can handle the basketball. And gets the foul, draws the foul on Anderson, and that will send Isaiah Poor to the line. And the Cougars will see foul shots the rest of the evening. And that foul is going to be on Tyus Anderson. That is his third of the night. Anderson with 3 points as well for the Eagles. Isaiah Poor looking for his 13th point and misses. And that's huge. Got to capitalize on that missed free throw if you're Independence. Womack to St. Charles. They look to do just that. Salitri doing it himself from the corner, unable to hit. Big offensive rebound by Anderson. Going for the no-look pass. No-looked it right into Ellison's hands, and here comes Isaiah Poor. Isaiah Poor able to draw a foul as he has nothing on his mind other than getting to the rim. Tyus Anderson once again, that is his fourth. Brings the team foul total to 8 for Independence. And Isaiah Poor making his first of 2 free throws. I think he and Coach Hickman on the sidelines joking around. I think he might have should have had that last free throw. Poor with the second and connects. That is 14 for Isaiah Poor. Zone defense again for Centennial. 47-31 lead. 3.5 minutes left to go in the ball game. Womack to Salitri. Trying for the third time from the same spot. Unable to hit. And here comes the Cougars. Poor looking maybe for a rim rocker. Decides to go for the higher percentage shot. Isaiah Poor putting on a show. Going in to autopilot. 49-31, this lead is getting large. Salitri trying the best he can to get his team back in it. Looks like he drew the foul. Don't know if they called that a shooting foul or not, but nonetheless, that is going to be 1-and-1 shot. Look at this coast-to-coast action by Isaiah Poor. Almost losing it. And, man, I think everybody in here and myself just knew he was going to be grabbing some iron on that one. But instead, taking the smarter shot, and that's my opinion. Smarter shot in my opinion. Who am I? I'm not out there. But great play nonetheless by Isaiah Poor. 16-point game tonight by the young man. And Salitri able to hit his first of 2 free throws. And number 2. So Salitri with 12 points tonight. Leads the scoring for Independence. Good defense there by Independence. I thought that was a good looking play there by Justin Miles. And that's actually, I apologize, that's actually going to be called on Harishi Salitri. Nonetheless, good effort defensively by the Eagles. Going to need something special on that side of the ball if they're going to try to get back into this. 3 minutes left to go. Big foul shots here by Centennial. And the first of two, or the first of 1-1, have you, Ben Brown. And that gives him 5 points tonight. Looking for 6 here, and hits. $18-point game. Independence looking to get some points on the board as big shot there by Matt St. Charles. Quickly calling a timeout as Independence. $15-point game, 51-36. Centennial looking to get back on the winning ways. Get that 3-7 over the last 10 games back on the right foot. And if you're Independence, that is likely going down to 3-7. Might go down to 7th place in the conference, depending on how Franklin and Page do tonight. But even if the season ended tonight, after this game, Independence is still going to be looking at a 6-7 matchup against Franklin. Depending on how they turn out. Then again, Franklin could get hot, and we could have a battle of Franklin at a 4-5 matchup in the playoffs as well. And that is exactly what Coach Hickman and company, Centennial, are playing for right now, is that home court advantage, that round 1 playoff game at home. And they are on their way of punching their ticket to that game, as we are just under 3 minutes left to go here at Centennial High School. 51-36, Centennial leads. And Independence showing the full court press once again and forcing the turnover. Andrew Ellison passing to nobody, and good defensive stand there by the Eagles. St. Charles inbounds to, to Salitri, looking for quick points here. And we have a whistle on the floor. So let's try it again. St. Charles into Salitri. Looking for quick points once again. And foul call on the shot by St. Charles. And that is on Carter Speedy. His second foul, as St. Charles misses the front end of the 1-1. One of two by St. Charles, 51-37. Centennial blowing through that press, and Poor and Garrett will set the ball up for the Cougars. And quick foul there by Colin Upright, closing out on Speedy. And with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left to go here in the fourth, Coach Kyle and company trying to get that clock as milked as possible. And Speedy into the double-digit column with 10 points after that first free throw. So Speedy with both free throws. And on the other end, Salitri with the jumper from the elbow, fouled on the play. And that was by Carter Speedy. Once again, that's that's 2, excuse me, on Speedy. And Salitri cashing in on that 3-point play. That's 15 for Salitri. Poor cornered in the corner and keeps the possession as he throws it off the defender. 13-point ball game, 2:11 left to go in the fourth. Long pass by Ellison. St. Charles playing safety out there like Richard Sherman on the Hawk, and see what they call here. 3 fouls in a row on Carter Speedy. So he started the last 65 seconds of this game with 1 foul. Now he is at 4. Very quickly, and Independence looking to cash in at the line, and that right there is what Coach Kyle had talked about previously, is the production from the free throw line. I think looking back on tonight's game, they had some opportunities to claw back into this lead multiple times from the foul line, and have been unable to do it. But you have those games. So Centennial forced to call a timeout as from the baseline, unable to get the ball in. So once again, we thank you for joining us in this week's WC-TV Game of the Week. We hope to see you next week. These Centennial Cougars will be traveling to Franklin. Excuse me, let me check that right. That doesn't sound right. I think that is right. Yes. Okay. Had to go to the judges there for that one. Yes. These Cougars will be traveling to Franklin, Battle of Franklin next week. And that should be an interesting matchup there on the boys and girls side. But until then, 2 minutes and 10 seconds left to go here at Centennial, as the Cougars are looking to run away from the Eagles, as Isaiah Poore continues with his high motor and continues to go to the line, leading his team to 16 points. So on that ensuing drive there by Poore, Matt St. Charles is going to get called with the intentional foul. So that's going to give Isaiah Poore a chance to shoot 2 freebies at the line before his original free throws from the shot. Two for 2 by Poole after the intentional foul by St. Charles. And Poore has 18 points tonight for the Cougars, and they will keep possession. And Independence going for another quick foul, and that is St. Charles once again. That'll be his 4th. And both teams with 2 free throws the rest of the game. Poore looking to extend this 14-point lead with 2 minutes left to go. And possibly to get to 20 points. And he did. 20 points for Isaiah Poore. Huge night by the senior. Definitely driven his team tonight on the offensive side of the ball. As Upright misses, and Poore with the big rebound and is fouled on the breakout. Looks like both teams will be sending in 5 fresh legs each. As Poore hits the front end of the 2 free throws. Both teams looking to switch it up a little bit to get everybody some playing time. Carson Womack, Owen Rise, Brady Jenkins out there for the Eagles. Centennial brings out Cody Maddox, Matthew Joyner, Ryan Lampley, big number 50 Carson Cokes, and John Fox are the new personnel out for the Cougars. Anderson kicks it to Rise. Offensive rebound down low by DeWeese. Anderson, no good. Rebound by Matthew Joyner. And Ryan Lampley will bring up the ball as we approach 1 minute left to go in this game. Minute 10 to be exact. Fox setting it up to Maddox. Lampley watching the clock as we hit 1 minute left to go in regulation. 59-41 Centennial, comfortable lead. And we'll go to 6-5 in conference, 13-9. I am sorry, it's been a long game tonight. 13-9 overall. And Independence will drop to 3-7, 9-12 overall. And the crowd here at Centennial likes it. The Centennial bench likes it. And I know Coach Hickman and that sidelines there at Centennial likes it. Been a rough 10-game stretch and have come back and made a statement on their home floor against the Eagles. A lot of potential from this Independence team. A lot of young talent, strong coaching staff, strong-minded kids, and they'll definitely be back next week and especially next year for sure. And the buzzer sounds, double zeros are on the scoreboard, and that is our final. Centennial over Independence, 59-41. Once again, thank you so much for joining our broadcast, WC-TV Game of the Week. For myself, Parker Hazard, Trenton Perry, we thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next week at Franklin High School as the Rebels host the Cougars of Centennial. Till then, we'll see you. Have a great weekend. Cheers.